Military and Russia experts say Putin is testing NATO and Western unity over its alarmingly frequent drones and fighters sent into European airspace. Meanwhile, the EU is pressing ahead with its 19th package of sanctions over the Kremlin's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. The sanctions include bringing forward the date for a ban on Russian LNG gas into the EU. However, the US under the Trump administration is no longer imposing new sanctions against Russia. EU sanctions envoy David O'Sullivan says he hopes this policy will be reversed.
We hope that Mr. Trump will draw from the experience he's had until now that Putin clearly doesn't want peace. We, in the meantime, will continue to apply our sanctions in conjunction with the rest of the G7, and we hope that the US will rejoin us very soon.
How have the sanctions worked? Have they lived up to the expectations about crippling the Russian economy?
I think the sanctions have been very effective. You can see all the key indicators in the Russian economy are flashing red, whether that's the interest rate, whether that's the inflation rate, whether that's the rate of public expenditure. They're talking about raising taxes. They've had to run down the National Welfare Fund. Gazprom has posted a deficit, is laying people off. So I think all the indications are that the Russian economy is being put under severe constraints. But I agree, it's more of a slow puncture than it is a blowout. And we have to be willing to maintain the pressure for some time to come still if we're going to finally squeeze the ability of Russia to finance this awful war.
What would you like Donald Trump to do, though, as part of this war? Obviously, we know that he's trying to create a trialogue with the United States, Zelensky and Putin, but Putin has refused to meet President Zelensky.
The first piece is the military side, which is one of the reasons why we're working on the immobilized assets and the ability to give Ukraine more money with which to purchase weapons. And we would like to see the United States join in again in the kind of sanctions that we've been doing in the 17th and the 18th package and the 19th package.
Just you mentioned the Russian frozen assets, which most of which are here in Belgium in Euroclear. The Commission and other countries who are supportive of this are at pains to say this is not confiscation. But it really does look like confiscation because it's not likely that Russia is going to get that money back because unless, of course, Russia decides to pay for reconstruction, which is not something that people believe is going to materialise. So explain how it's not confiscation or what it is.
Well, it's not confiscation because exactly as you say, Russia will get this back if they pay the reparations. So, I mean, it's their choice. If they choose not to pay the money they owe for the destruction they have caused in Ukraine, then indeed Ukraine has some call on those assets in Europe as compensation. And that's the model that's being pursued. Ukraine would get the benefit of a loan, but would have to repay that if Russia pays reparations. And with that repayment of the loan, Russia would get the money back. So what we are saying is we're holding them until we see how Russia is going to step up for its responsibilities and the undoubted debts that it owes for the reconstruction of Ukraine with the massive destruction, deliberate destruction of civilian infrastructure that we have seen. The money will always be there to give back if and when the Russians start to pay.